Hey everybody, it's Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome to my Zeah Landlocked Iron Man. If you haven't heard of the Twisted League yet, then you must only watch my content or you just live in a bubble, and I can brief you on what's been going on here. Twisted League is a temporary game mode that opened up last week on November 16th and will close back up on January 16th. Anybody who participates is an Iron Man who can only play on the Zeah Landmass, and any attempts to leave the Landmass are going to end you right back up on Zeah. You might think 2 months isn't very much time to get things done, and that's true, so they've given us a 5 times XP rate while in the Twisted League, and some unique relics which can be unlocked. Relics give a very interesting boost to help speed up leveling and combat-related things, and we'll get way more into that once I actually start unlocking relics of my own. To unlock relics, you need to complete tasks. There's a very large list of tasks ranging from simple things like level 20 in each skill, for instance, to much more complicated tasks like doing a solo raid in under 16 minutes. In fact, at first it was under 12 minutes, but they removed that task because it was so insanely difficult. But you get points for completing tasks. The harder the tasks are, the more points you get, and the more points you have, the more relics you'll unlock. There's also going to be a rewards shop at the end of the league where you can spend your points on some cosmetic upgrades for the main game. Now that I've spent far too long getting my character looking good, I'll meet you at the castle. There are 5 tiers of relics, and everyone gets their first tier as soon as they arrive. There's 3 relics on each tier, and you can only choose just one. The options are as follows for the first relic. You have the Abyssal Accumulator, which is going to save you 85% of your ammo and runes. Very nice to have a backpack for magic and range. Next, you've got Dark Altar Devotion, which is automatically going to bury bones for you and gets 4 times the normal XP from those bones. Also, you get double ensouled head drops, and your prayer drains at half the speed. Very convenient on all those notes. Finally, though, we have the relic that everyone probably should have picked. Not that the others are worthless, but this one, my god, Endless Endurance. With this one, you have unlimited run energy, and your hit points restore 4 times the normal rate. Without stamina potions, having unlimited run energy is going to save far too many hours, so I did choose Endless Endurance. Lucky for me, though, I did spend the first 30 minutes to an hour running around aimlessly, so I really needed this. So right out of the gate, I figured that, of course, Winter Todd is generally like one of the best early game options, even when you're not locked to Zeah, but I didn't want to do it immediately, so I started by going for the Client of Korend quest. I figure probably should do all the quests sooner than later, but this seemed like a good one to get out of the way, maybe grab that extra 20% in whatever house I'm going for, and it's also an easy task. You do need 1 feather to complete the Client of Korend, so I ran all the way back to the castle. I wish I knew about this before I ran over to the guy, but there was some chickens just south of the castle. I only had to KO 2 of them to grab a couple of feathers, and then went to finish up the quest. And we're done! A couple of lamps for, how much XP a piece? 500 a piece. So 2.5k? I don't fucking know. I haven't thought this through at all. But while I'm running to the next quest, I'll think about it. I'd like to jumpstart on farming, because then I'll actually grow some herbs. You get some in drops, too. Oh, you don't get the, bonus XP from the lamp. Thought you did. Feels bad, man. Yeah, you do. It just says 500, because look. 2,500. You tricky bastard. I spent the next maybe 30 minutes going from just a couple of aimless tasks, kind of wondering exactly what I wanted to go for, and really everything I wanted to do off the bat required a decent amount of money, and I just finally pulled the trigger and said, why don't I work on getting to Winter Todd? That way I can get some coins from those rewards. There's a lot of tasks to be done there, and there's a lot of other supplies that I can get from it. I don't really want to do a lot of Winter Todd at once. I don't know if any of you guys watch my Hardcore Iron Man series. I said in the end of the last episode, I'll be doing Winter Todd on my hardcore while playing Twisted League, and the last thing I really wanted to do was Winter Todd on 2 accounts at once. Seems like a lot of fun, right? Speaking of fun, though, you're not going to believe this one. Even with 5 times the XP rates, woodcutting and firemaking is still really boring. Now, don't get me wrong. I like woodcutting because it's really chill, really AFK, and I'm a big fan of both things. But I was streaming a lot of this early Twisted League content, and that made for some boring downtime when it came to woodcutting. It was around an hour to get up to 50 firemaking, and I ended up splitting it into 2 different chunks just to make it slightly more bearable, even though an hour really isn't that bad. There were a couple other things that I needed to do before I could actually go to Winter Todd other than just 50 firemaking, so I did those other things like halfway to 50 firemaking and then came back. I made this plan while slowly chopping logs, and here is me trying to explain the plan during the live stream, and this is the reason why so far this has mostly been voiced over, is because I'm unable to discuss a plan while I'm coming up with it, apparently. Just listen. Here's what I'm gonna do. Light all these on fire. Let's go down to this path. Like I was saying, if I light them on this path, it just leads me towards the cake stalls. Let's do a couple empties of cake stalls. And check the bank for that certificate. 43. I can just put 20 into Piscarilius real quick. And that way I can go do Queen of Thieves. Once I do Queen of Thieves, I'm able to buy feathers. And then basically just need to do some Winter Todd rounds for the money, and I could do Barbarian Fishing tonight. So I might be able to get more than I thought done before getting done today. I mean, in the long run, I got through it. If you guys want to check out the link in the description and the one on the screen to actually get to witness my stuttering live or any of the content live, I do stream on Twitch as often as possible, so please drop a follow on that if you're enjoying the content. So I did make my way over to the cake stalls to get a little bit of thieving in, and I also ended up doing a little bit of silk stalls so that I could have some money to buy a house before doing Winter Todd. I was hoping to get some construction XP while I was there, though again, I don't want to do that many kills at Winter Todd, so probably not that many levels overall. The silk is kind of nice because you can sell it back to the guy for 60 GP a piece, the guy that you stole it from, ironically, but you have to wait 30 minutes because he'll recognize that you're the guy that stole it from him. So the timing actually worked out pretty well. I stole as much silk that I needed, and it took me about another 30 minutes to go finish up fire making. Once my 50 fire making was complete, I made my way back to the bank and started selling some silk. Now, there was a bit of irony behind it. First of all, I kind of skipped selling silk in the first hour or two because I figured I'd be able to make however much money I needed in less than 30 minutes rather than having to wait the 30 minutes after selling silk, and quickly realized that was not going to be the case. I also was not 100% sure how much it was going to cost to get your first house. It's normally 1K, but it also costs money to move your house over to Hosidius normally, so I got the 8.75K that you would need to buy a house in Hosidius normally, but they just gave you the house here, and it turns out I had some extra cash for feathers, which is really not that big of a deal because it's just money that I would have needed to get anyway, probably through Winter Todd. Now that I had finally gotten some food, I got 50 fire making, and I got my house purchased, I decided to go get some Winter Todd kills. Though, for the third time, didn't want to do that many, so I really just started off with 5KC, hoping to get enough coins just to buy enough feathers for the night of fishing. I did happen to get one highlight, though. If I were to turn in right now, let's do a real quick claim points. Hey, I'm halfway to my second relic. And there's a 30k XP drop to put me at 61 fire making. My God. Alright, crate number 3. Whoop! Oh! Pyromancer Garb on crate number 3! Hell yeah! There we go. First piece of clothing already. Looking beautiful. Good shit, man. What a start. No coins that time, but what are you gonna do? Complain? Hell yeah. Thanks, Winter Todd, for actually being exciting. That's crazy. Just put it all away. This should be enough coins for a good amount of feathers. I gotta, well, let's just head to Piscarilius. Quest complete. Another quest point, some good thieving XP. 39 thieving. Task complete. 10% favor. What the hell is this for? It's one of those pages of the memoirs. Try it into the book. I'll just hold on to it. 16k to spend on mostly feathers, which I'm running away from. I can hit you with a little bit of added irony, the fact that I was just running away from the store and then I run back to the store to buy some feathers. As you can see, if you check out in the store whenever I'm in it, you could buy a Barbarian Fishing Rod here. You can do it at either of the fishing shops, but I kind of forgot about the Barbarian Fishing Rod, and I make my way all the way up to the Piscarilius shop to buy one, even though I could have bought it here. The thing is, I need to start with fishing shrimp, and you kind of have to do that at the Piscarilius house too, so I guess in the long run, I really didn't waste that much time. So even though I only got that 5 KC at Winter Todd, I can go back whenever I need and grind out any KC really quickly, really easily. So I kind of got that out of the way, and I figure it's time to really try to go for that second relic, and probably the third relic ASAP afterward. I mean, technically getting all 5 relics would be the best option to get those ASAP, but for now, we're looking at relic number 2. Part of the reason I picked fishing was because I needed some AFK time that night, and Once you get to Barbarian Fishing, you actually get XP in a few different skills. You also get Agility and Strength XP while you're there. And I figure that's going to end up getting me a decent amount of tasks done, maybe make some good progress towards that relic. After finishing up catching shrimp to level 30, I just went and did some fly fishing at the pond just east of the castle. And I've also been cooking all of my food up to this point to try to keep myself as close as possible in terms of cooking levels. I actually get 49 cooking right here, so they stayed just about even. The thing is, when I get to Barbarian Fishing, I'll just be dropping the fish, so really no more cooking XP from this. And I figure if I'm trying to get a lot of cooking XP, I probably just want to go do the mess hall for Hosidius favor. In the long run, either getting 100% favor or even going past that would probably be better for cooking gains, unless I came back to fly fishing or something like that, which I won't. But now that I got 48 fishing, headed up to the mountain, at least that's what I thought. Here's what I ran into when I was heading up the mountain. At only 10 HP, I was kind of unaware there was a multi-combat area with trolls. I tried to get by them a few times with my current stats, but unfortunately it never really worked out quite so well, so I decided probably should go do some training. I chose the cows in Hosidius. This is on the northern part of the house. I decided to pick up their leather too because I'm aware of somebody that tans leather in Korend, but I think he's in that Forthos dungeon. You gotta do a bunch of other stuff first, and I'm probably ended up gonna not use it, we'll see, but I picked up the cow hides for leather, and I ended up burying some of the bones at the end, figuring that I might as well get some prayer levels since even regular bones are like 45 XP a piece. But really, the goal here was to get some hit points levels. I started with attack training just so I could hit decently well and get some half-ass XP rates for the back end of it, where I did a couple of defense levels too. So I think I walk away here with like 19 hit points and 15 defense and attack, something like that. Now, the first time I ran by these trolls, one of them hit me for a 10, so with a bunch of them there, I still wasn't necessarily guaranteed to make it, but they were a little spread out this time, which made the hits not really stack up, and I didn't have to go through that many of them, so it worked out so well. Awesome, but unfortunately, I ran into another issue. As I was just explaining in the last clip, I went for attack levels just to make sure that my defense XP wasn't too slow, and then I got the defense levels I figured I would need to run past the trolls. The ironic part is to do Barbarian Fishing, you need 15 strength, and I didn't do any strength levels, so it was time to go do combat again. At this point, we focused so hard on fishing that I figure I can skip the rest of it. I went right back to the cows, got 15 strength, and then just came back up here and sat the whole night on fishing, making some pretty solid gains, getting some easy tasks done, and even medium tasks with 60 plus fishing, even 40 plus fishing is a medium task, and that actually brought me closer to the relic than I thought it would. By the next morning, it was time to make a decision that I was not quite ready for. I actually got way more points than I needed for the relic just from the night before, so now it was time to decide between Hardcore Harvester and Unnatural Selection. Though there was a third one in there, I was pretty certain I wasn't choosing Arcane Courier. To briefly go over what each relic does, the Hardcore Harvester, you just get triple the amount of resources from mining, fishing, woodcutting, harvesting herbs, blast mine, and farming contracts, which is insane. So like triple the fish, triple the ore, whatnot. You also get triple pearls from aerial fishing, and farming is 5 times faster, and farming was already at an expedited rate in Twisted League if I'm not mistaken. The Arcane Courier, which was the one I was pretty certain I wasn't going to pick, meant that all supplies from Winter Todd, as well as supplies from mining, fishing, woodcutting, and farming, were automatically sent to the bank. This would have been kind of nice, but for the most part I didn't feel like I would be using it that often. Now, probably the most common option in this tier of relics was the Unnatural Selection, which you can choose your own Slayer assignments and farming contracts. For a while, I wanted that Hardcore Harvester since I can get a bunch of extra supplies, and I figured I'll be spending more time on skilling, but because I'll be spending more time on skilling, I kind of want to go for some of the relics that are going to help with combat, like this Unnatural Selection for the Slayer gains. That way, if I'm not spending as much time on it, at least I'll be getting like expedited rates. In this case, I can choose my own tasks, which could save a lot of time. Now, I have one relic that's going to help out a little bit with combat, being able to choose my own Slayer task, but the third relic also has a really good choice where you can double combat XP. So, just to make another easy goal, we finally got the second relic. Time to go for the third. This young dwarf named Toothy, who lives in the northern part of the Loacane house right by the sulfur mines, will sell pickaxes, so I went and bought up to Mithril from him and decided to do a little bit of mining. I figure 40 mining and 20 smithing would be pretty easy. That's a medium and an easy task. I guess 2 easy tasks, because I also get to 20 mining on the way to 40. But also, if I went to 31 smithing, I could make my own steel axe, and I've been living off of a bronze axe up to this point, so kind of 2 combined goals in there. Mostly trying to get the steel axe and then move on to woodcutting, though. Most of the mines at Zeah are packed, as you probably expected. At least that's what I expected. Lucky for me, I started the league about a day late. That guy just called me a bum. I started the league about a day late, and I feel like things aren't as packed. I can't imagine it was worse than some of the worlds I've seen. This is one of the better worlds I've found, and I'm probably not hanging out at this mine very often. I'm going to get my copper and tin here, probably an inventory apiece, and then I'm going to head up to the top of the mountain where Konar is. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try. There's a pretty good mine for iron and coal there, and that's probably where I'm going to hang out for the back end of these mining and smithing levels. So I almost missed, or in fact I did miss the clip where I got 500 total level, which is a medium task. Every 250 levels you get a task. 750, excuse me, is an easy task for 500 and 750. I think I just said medium. So 250, 500, and 750 are all easies. Once I get to 1,000, that's a medium task, which would be kind of nice. But I'll take any points I can get my hands on, of course. We're trying to get to that third relic at the moment. I am up at the top of Mount Kowroolum. I'm going to be doing a little bit of iron mining, and I'll grab a handful of coal, just trying to get mostly to 31 smithing. But I'll stop my mining adventures at 40 to get that task, then go for the 31 smithing, and get a steel axe, I guess. It's as simple as that. This next clip that I'll show you is actually a clip from stream. It's probably the most exciting moment of smithing I've ever had in my life. The deal here was I only got enough ore for 26 bronze bars, and then I had a bunch of iron ore. But if that didn't get me all the way to 15 smithing, I was going to have to go all the way back to the other mine and mine some tin and copper. So I probably could have done the math while I was mining tin and copper, but instead I was just kind of winging it, and it turned out to give us this beaut. This is for 13. Ah, dude. This one's for 14. Please, 2 for 15. Dude, this is gonna put me like 1 XP away. It's gonna be so sad. Ready? Oh! 15 smithing. What a fucking exciting moment in a gamer's life. Jesus. Got exactly the right amount of ores to get to 15. Didn't even know. It's possible I could sell those to a shop instead of dropping them, but I'm not picking that shit up. So with that out of the way, I started making some iron bars and eventually got to 30 plus smithing. I made sure to make the 1 steel bar and finish up 31 smithing so that I could head back to the anvil and make a steel axe. Now, mining and smithing were not necessarily on my immediate goals, and they're also fairly slow, especially if you didn't go for the triple resources or that Arcane Courier where you could automatically bank stuff. So I don't have a lot of plans to do a lot of mining in the future, but smithing levels can be fairly convenient for some of the early gear, I guess. Mostly just like this axe. I feel like a lot of armor and whatnot you're going to end up getting from drops, but I'll take it. I'll take the gains that I can get. And now that I had a steel axe, my decision was to head back to wood cutting. I brought a knife with me so I could do a little bit of fletching. That's why I started with regular logs, eventually oak, then willow logs. The goal is actually to get 60 wood cutting and head into the wood cutting guild. 60 wood cutting is a medium task by itself, and entering the wood cutting guild is another medium task. I do have to do some Hosidius favor to actually complete that, but for now, I'm going for the wood cutting levels, and I'm actually going to be wrapping up this episode on this wood cutting note. I do hope you all enjoyed episode number 1 of my Twisted League progress. I haven't necessarily said what my overall plans for the league are, and that's because I don't really have any overall plans right now. I'm just kind of going step by step, seeing what kind of things I want to work on, and just taking it from there. So I hope you all enjoyed the first episode. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Let me know what you guys want to see for more Twisted League content. If you haven't followed me on Twitch, Twitter, or even joined the Discord, all of those links should be in the description. I appreciate you watching for the 3rd time, and best of luck in your grind.